हमारे सामने नाइक है गोंगो लुबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
In the news tonight, PM not needed at summit, says US envoy. Court acquits former police director. And FBC launches new media platform.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nunn.
Ulawanaka, Fiji. The United States Embassy in Suva today says there is no need for Fiji to be present at a climate summit organized by US President Joe Biden. The summit later this month will be attended by 40 world leaders. However, Fijian Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has not been invited. Apanisa Wangairandovu reports Fiji's foreign ministry had earlier sought clarification on why Bainimarama has been snubbed.
U.S. Embassy charged the affairs. Tony Grubel says there is no need to involve Fiji as the meeting is for developed nations who are major contributors to climate change.
For this particular summit, President Biden was inviting the major emitters of the world. So the major emitters, obviously that's the United States, our own country, it's China, it's England, etc. So Fiji obviously is not a major emitter, and so there was no reason for this particular summit, for a lot of small island countries to be invited.
Grubel says Fiji is being represented indirectly along with other small island states.
To keep it manageable, Washington decided, the administration said we would invite Antigua and Barbuda in their role as chair of this alliance of small island states.
I think it's unfair because Fiji, like other countries, are facing climate change, so they should be participating in the meeting as well.
The US may have their reason, but it's climate change, and I think everyone should be involved.
The US envoy says there will be other diplomatic engagement in the lead-up to the COP26 in Glasgow later this year, and Pacific Island countries, including Fiji, will be part of these engagements in the next few months. He says the U.S. understands Fiji's disappointment at not being invited to Biden's summit. Apanisa Wangairandovu, FBC News.
And we now join Apanisa Wangairandovu live. Apanisa, will there be any Pacific representation at the Biden summit?
Edwin, Grubel has explained the Republic of the Marshall Islands has been invited as it's the chair of the High Ambition Coalition. The U.S. envoy also says Fiji no longer chair any international bodies that is working on any climate change issues, and so the invite was not considered. However, Fiji has led the charge on climate change for many years, even including the COP23, co-hosting COP23, as well the first ever UN Ocean Conference.
Apanisa, has this been communicated to the government?
Edwin Grubel has also told FBC News he has communicated with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to clarify the reason why Fiji is not invited. This was after he was summoned to the ministry's office about a week ago. Edwin.
Naka Apanisa, a father of two who murdered his 27-year-old wife in Vunindawa, Naitasiri last year has been handed a mandatory life sentence by the Suva High Court today. Josevata Verelali Koroi was convicted of 1 count of murder. Pranita Prakash files this report.
Murder as a remedy is no answer. These were the words of the High Court judge while handing a mandatory life sentence to this 33-year-old village headman. Josevata Verelali Koroi murdered his wife, Andi Elenani Raindrau, in May last year following a marital dispute. Koroi knew since 2017 that his wife was having an affair and tried to resolve it by asking her to stop. However, she persisted and Koroi decided to end her life by stabbing her. The High Court judge says that Koroi did not seek a resolution to his marital problem in the family court, and instead the answer for him was murder. He says this problem is not unfamiliar in Fiji and people must learn to resolve issues peacefully, either through counseling or divorce proceedings. Koroi will have to serve a minimum of 18 years behind bars before a pardon may be considered by the president. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Former Police Director of Internal Affairs Muhammad Talib Khan has been acquitted by the Suva Magistrates Court. Khan was charged with one count of abuse of office last year. It was alleged that in April 2017, the accused, as the acting superintendent of police, directed the unlawful arrest and detention of an individual. The defense had made a no case to answer submission. The magistrate today ruled that the evidence was not reliable and therefore there is no case to answer. Fijians now have faster access to news and information thanks to a new app launched by the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation this morning. Anyone with the app can now instantly access news and current affairs programs as well as all 6 FBC radio stations. Josiah Nanunga has more.
It's getting bigger and better. App users will be able to view and download the app to ensure they stay abreast with what's happening around us and around the globe through our online, television and radio media.
This extremely user-friendly app in our corporate colors lets you read, watch and listen to all news stories produced in the FBC newsroom, with users getting notifications of breaking stories that you can share with others.
FBC digital media specialist Calvin Prasad says it took the team 1 year to successfully develop the new app.
We wanted Fijians to be able to access and enjoy all the FBC's content using just one app.
It helps people to access news and live broadcasts at the same time, wherever they are.
This coming Monday, FBC 7 p.m. news become a 1-hour bulletin filled with hard-hitting stories and relevant issues from across the country. News manager Indra Singh is optimistic this will increase the viewership.
It is through the hard work of the team at FBC and in particular the newsroom that has seen the demand for FBC news increase on a daily basis, and in a short span of time the newsroom has gone from virtually unknowns to the #1 in the country. And I think what the viewers will get now is more of the things that we've been giving them. More news, more interesting stuff, and as you know there's a lot of new inclusions into the segment. So it is going to be very interesting times from Monday for the whole of Fiji.
Over the last decade, FBC has become the most preferred and watched TV news for people who want credible mainstream media as their reliable source of information. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
Meanwhile, Fiji's premier English radio station, Gold FM, has been revamped with more music and content. Programs Director Caroline Koroi says apart from non-stop classics, listeners can expect latest news and sports updates as well as international updates. Koroi adds this is an approach to attract more listeners from different parts of Fiji and across the globe.
Listeners can expect a variety of music, basically. That's what the whole improved and revamped Gold FM is all about, launched this morning. And you can expect to listen to a whole lot of different kinds of music from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and beyond.
Up ahead, prevalence of heart disease worries doctors. And local developers step up.
मैं दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Welcome back. Police say that it does not entertain traditional reconciliation in instances where people have taken the law into their own hands. This comes as there have been talks in the community of a Veisorosorovi, or a traditional reconciliation which has been proposed for the youth of 2 communities in Nambua who were involved in a violent brawl on Easter Saturday. Despite the Nambua Methodist Circuit pastor Sayasi Ngalida talking of a proposed traditional reconciliation, police say nothing has changed in a bid to identify and arrest perpetrators. A heightened police presence is being maintained around Nambua to ensure the security of residents in the area. Police have been holding meetings with both youth groups from the respective communities in Nambua, where issues are being discussed and possible solutions for a way forward. When questioned about the cause and those who may have instigated the violent brawl, police maintain that investigations are ongoing with the person of interest currently in custody. Health professionals are facing challenges with the late presentation of patients suffering various types of heart diseases. Oceania Hospital interventional cardiologist Dr. Prakash Gore says most patients are unaware that they have a disease. Dr. Gore says they have received a lot of cases and are concerned with the lack of awareness. Kritika Kumar reports.
The interventional cardiologist says there is a lack of awareness, and by the time patients visit the hospital, it's often too late.
Everyone should be aware of what actually the heart disease is, what are the symptoms, and they should not neglect it or overlook it and present themselves to the GPs or whatever clinical facilities or the first medical contact they have.
He adds that limited resources are another challenge they are facing.
The logistics is an issue, but we are doing good, I think. We are having enough of cases, we are doing emergency cases, we are doing complex angioplasties here, we are doing renal angioplasties here, so this is good.
CWM hospital cardiologist Dr. Shahin Nusser says poor lifestyle choices are the common reasons young Fijians are diagnosed with heart diseases.
The behavioral habits that you do will influence the acceleration rate of the disease process.
Oceania Hospitals Limited today conducted its continuous medical education session to ensure practitioners are well informed about heart diseases. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Local developers make up a large portion of all construction carried out in the last few months. The Construction Industry Council says this is a positive sign for the economy as it translates into increased investment. Kelly Vadala reports.
Construction is a major player in the economy and people are making good use of government concessions.
It's very clear that a lot of people are probably, local people are doing development that they didn't intend to do, but because they've been getting a good concession, they've gone ahead and done it. You know, another thing about it is in times like this, the price falls as well.
Gordon Jenkins says the industry is doing better compared to last year, but they're not out of the woods yet.
The construction workforce is probably reduced, probably gone down to a third or 25% of what it was pre-COVID.
The Ministry for Commerce says industry professionals need to take greater responsibility.
In terms of figures and statistics, Suva City Council received the highest number of building permit applications in 2020, basically at the height of COVID.
Even though 2021 promises to be a challenging year for the construction industry, a major effort is underway to increase its membership. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
65 Fiji National University students from the Lambasa campus affected by TC Yasa and TC Ana have been assisted with vouchers by the FNU Student Association. The vouchers were handed over yesterday by Minister for Education Rosie Akbar. Eleanor Turangaivu has more.
The voucher assistance is aimed at helping students towards their studies after they were affected by Tropical Cyclone Yasa last December and Tropical Cyclone Ana in January.
We are so grateful for the assistance provided by the FNU students here in Lambasa, including me and my colleagues who were affected by the cyclones. We are so grateful to FNU SA for their help.
According to the Fiji National University Students Association President Ketan Lal, this is an extension of the COVID-19 assistance initially targeted at students whose parents had lost employment as a result of the pandemic.
These are $25 voucher each from these stores. Students can go buy clothes, buy anything that can help them in their education.
Handing over the vouchers, Minister for Education Rosie Akbar says the assistance will go a long way in ensuring that students are well prepared and catered for in their studies.
No assistance is big, no assistance is small. Every little support will take another individual a long way.
Meanwhile, 4 students were also given scholarships yesterday under the FNU Students Association Scholarship Scheme. They will get a tuition fee for the semester paid off. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Meanwhile, libraries in secondary schools around Vanua level will get a boost with donations from the FNU Student Association. The Student Association has been distributing high school level library books in Viti level since 2017. With most schools affected by TC Yasa and TC Ana, the Student Association saw it fit to bring the book drive to the Northern Division. Minister for Education Rosie Akbar says they partnered with the association to ensure that schools get the books they need.
We have also contributed reference textbooks to your book drive, and these will be distributed to all the schools, secondary schools in the north this week. And of course, the drive will continue to the eastern, western as we go along.
Tambia Sanathan College outside Lambasa town was the first to receive their books yesterday. And now we join Whitney with tonight's business.
Thanks, Edwin. Coming up in business tonight, tenancy issues worry consumer watchdog. And government invests in desilting rivers. Stay with us.
Bola, ang gono ilutoka tutalita ka ng Bola FM berarti number 2 NSR.
Bola FM number 2 NSR.
The Consumer Council of Fiji is baffled by continued increases in landlord tenancy complaints. 2,250 complaints worth over $500,000 have recorded over 6 years. The council has received 120 complaints since January with a monetary value of close to $40,000. Jeshulal reports.
The consumer watchdog says it's high time that landlords clean up their act.
Council has received a lot of complaints whereby the landlords have increased their rents, and in many instances landlords have been called in and advised, and there are landlords who actually retracted the increased amount.
The council as an advocacy organization is conducting vigorous advocacy on this particular issue on landlord and tenancy, so that all the landlords out there, they are aware of what laws and regulations they have to abide by and what are the rights of the tenants, and we are making sure that they do not violate these rights of their tenants as well.
Shandil says despite continuous awareness on the responsibilities of landlords along with numerous warnings, issues have consistently popped up over the years.
However, what we feel is what we are receiving, the number of complaints that we are receiving or any other enforcement agencies are receiving is just the tip of iceberg. There are so many others who are suffering in silence. They are being bullied, but if they are not coming out, they're not being assertive and coming out with their complaints with the fear of being evicted, and you know how difficult it is nowadays to look for flats.
Tenants are also advised that they have a responsibility to ensure there is an agreement and that they work within the ambits of this contract. When vacating, they must ensure they leave the premises in the same condition as when they moved in. Jeshulal, FBC News.
Sanifa joins us now with the latest from the money market.
Good evening. There were no surprises from the Reserve Bank of Australia in April's meeting yesterday. It maintained its monetary policy position and held official cash rate at 0.1%. Potentially, the cash rate is expected to be on hold until 2025. RBA Governor Philip Lowe previously said the central bank would not increase interest rates until inflation is back in the target band of 2 to 3%. Meanwhile, the US dollar dropped to a 2-week low against a basket of currencies today. The dollar's decline came as investors adjusted their expectations that the Federal Reserve will tighten its policy earlier than suggested. The Federal Open Market Committee's latest meeting minutes and a speech from the Federal Chair, Jerome Powell, are on deck today. Relatively few new economic data reports or corporate earnings results are scheduled for release. We will wait and see how this will affect our Fiji dollar tomorrow. That's all from your HFC Bank, Vinaka.
Here are the local exchange rates as set early this morning. It was a mixed market day for the Fiji dollar, which rose against the US greenback, the Kiwi dollar and the PNG kina. The Sangamoli pretty much held even against the Chinese yuan and showed minor slippage against the other currencies we cover. Prices on the commodities market was mixed. The price of crude oil dropped 1 cent, still holding above $59 per barrel. Gold rose slightly to $1,738 per ounce, and silver closed up at $25.13 an ounce. 16 creeks will be undergoing emergency desilting by the Ministry of Waterways. Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the desilting will be carried out by companies through a partnership with the ministry. Dr. Reddy says under the emergency desilting program, there are a lot of rivers to work on, and the 16 creeks are just the beginning.
We pick up the cost of, EIA. We get all the, fishing rights waiver. We do everything through Ministry of Lands. Everything is done with proper paperwork, so no one can say that there is issue.
Reddy says talk of desilting or dredging often covers big rivers. However, there are other creeks and waterways which threaten roads, farms, villages and settlements. The minister says for this reason the focus has now shifted to these so-called second-degree waterways. And that's it from Business Tonight. We now join Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thank you, and good evening. Ahead in sports, Boxers return for second promotion. And more, they're still unbeaten. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Ini from Raki Raki. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Two boxers will make their comeback in the second round of the South Pacific Boxing Promotions next month. Joseph Quajo and Isikeli Senendoko will return to the ring in the main supporting bout at Prince Charles Park in Nandi. Tali Materukulu with the details.
Returning from a tooth injury, the Nigerian is ready to wear his boxing gloves.
I think I'm going to prepare. So in the ring, the skills-wise, I'm going to be showing on that night.
Naitasiri boxer Senendoko is looking forward to an ecstatic fight after a 2-year lapse.
We all know that Quajo is one of the best boxers in the country, but I'm preparing well and I'm ready to show him what I've got to prove my supporters that I still got what it takes to win.
This will be the first time the boxers go fist to fist in the ring, with a month remaining. Both utter nothing but words of respect for each other.
I have a lot of respect for Quajo. He's a good boxer, but I'm ready for a great showdown next month.
By seeing him fighting, I saw I think last 3 fights. I was there watching, but I didn't know we're gonna be sharing the ring. So that would be good for me to share the ring with him. I think him also gonna be grateful to share the ring with me.
The second round of the South Pacific Boxing Promotions will be held on the 22nd of next month at Prince Charles Park in Nandi. Tali Materukula, FBC Sports.
For the first time ever in Fiji Secondary School's Rugby League history, 2 women's teams will feature in the grand final. The 2 teams will consist of players representing the Western and Eastern Zone, respectively. FSSRL General Secretary Taniela Wakamode says this is a big step towards nurturing future national stars.
It will be a bigger boost for all our female students who will be part of that competition, as it will be a pathway to the KBT Syntax Elite program.
FMF Foods Limited has hopped on board as the official sponsor for the Victorian Sevens and Nukuvuto Zone competitions in May. The 2 separate events will take place at different venues next month, with the Victorian Sevens as a one-day tournament at Nukuvuto grounds, while the Nukuvuto Zone competition will run for the next 3 months at the Natobi ground in Tailevu. Caroline Itavi reports.
As part of its corporate social responsibility, FMF took the first step to reach out to the people of Tailevu to improve their living standards through rugby.
And this part of Fiji is untouched. There was hardly any sevens tournament from Quajo towards Dawasamu.
To help revive the sport in the Northland Tailevu area, Nukuvuto Zone Competition Chairman Samuela Murida says such competitions will help the youth to get engaged in healthy activities to keep them occupied.
Youth of Lamena Tumburiwai, school dropout the numbers have gone up, so that's the main purpose of to develop sports in the area.
For the Victorians Sevens organisers, the main purpose of hosting the tournament is to upgrade the Nukuvuto grounds near Queen Victoria School.
So this year will be a grateful year. We're going to start up again with the Sevens, giving opportunities to the youths and groups for every villages.
The Victorian Sevens will feature 32 men's teams and 8 women's teams. Meanwhile, the Nukuvuto Zone competition will feature 14 teams in both rugby and netball for the next 3 months. Carlini Tavi, FBC Sports.
Mothe has continued its unbeaten run in the Easter Cricket Championship and is one of the favourites to win the title. The side defeated Oniata today by 49 runs in the quarterfinal at Albert Park in Suva. Aquiladama reports.
The journey continues for Mothe, and their clean record shows they mean business.
I believe our performances so far clearly shows what we are capable of and what our intentions are. We have survived the pool games and quarterfinal unbeaten.
Tomorrow, they'll take on the defending champions Suva Warriors in the semi-final at 11 a.m. here at Albert Park. Last week, Mothe defeated Suva Warriors in the pool game.
We are here on a mission. The team left Mothe with an aim of winning the Easter Shield because we already have the Association Cup at home.
One of the upcoming players who helped them today is a young man from Tailevu.
I need to improve in my fielding as it was not good today, and I have to be on top of my game in the semi-final tomorrow. Even though I'm from Tailevu, I'm just glad to be part of this team as a bowler.
Mothe will take on Suva Warriors at 11 a.m. tomorrow in the semi-final. Aquiladama, FBC Sports.
5 new clubs have registered with the Suva Netball Association this season. The new clubs, which include Newtown and Delainavesi, having teamed up with the biggest association in the country at an ideal time, with Suva Netball officially striking a deal with New World IGA as the official sponsor for the club competition. Association Secretary Dominico Tambuarua says the sponsorship is a timely one as they prepare to kickstart the season on Saturday.
In the sense that some of the cost component for running event is very expensive, and one of the most component in our cost is the hiring of the National Netball Center. It takes about 10,000 for a season. So with this sponsorship, I think most of this money will go towards the hiring of the courts.
Disgraced star Israel Folau is still trying everything to be allowed back to playing rugby league. Supporters say he hasn't broken any laws, but the league's boss says it's a waste of time. In play of the day, Phil Foden's last gasp strike that gave Manchester City the 2-1 win and crucial advantage in the Champions League quarter-final first leg against Borussia Dortmund at Etihad Stadium. That's it from Sports Tonight. In new media after the break, LG to quit the mobile phone business. Details coming up.
We love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
And now to Angie with tonight's weather.
Hello to you and welcome to the world of rain and shine. The weather was good for Wednesday. Sunshine was having a field day until rain struck late afternoon. Only few centers had the privilege of getting the cool off by showers. Now looking to the west, humidity was high. There was nothing to worry about if you placed your beddings out in the sun. Eastwards from Pakaba to Suva, the day was splitted into two conditions. Half a day had good sunshine and half, of course, the mighty showers. And up in the north, I hope you had a nice day as the weather was spot on. At sea, southeast winds gusting from 15 to 20 knots, moderate seas. For the tides, the next high tide is at 9:24 p.m. with high tide at 3:54 a.m. Sunrise at 6:17. For tomorrow, well, it looks all clear. The morning bit could have few isolated showers, but will clear off real quick. Tomorrow's temps, Lambasa will be at 32 degrees, could feel like 36 degrees. And the outlook for Friday is for few showers, but nothing major. That's all I have from the weather world today. Take care and enjoy your evening. Edwin, it's back to you.
Thanks, Angie. In Fijian Pulse, we ask, do you think there is a need for more community policing?
I think we need more community policing to avoid incidents like brawl in our community.
I really think they should go around to the community, especially what happened last week.
For the safety of the people, for the public.
Police are just like us. We can't force them, but yes, we need patrol.
Miami police held a swearing-in ceremony for its youngest ever member, a 5-year-old boy. The boy, who's fighting stage 4 neuroblastoma, had always dreamt about being a police officer. And recapping our main stories, Prime Minister not needed at summit, says US envoy. Court acquits former police director. And FBC launches new media platform. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, should COVID-19 vaccination be made compulsory? Visit our FBC News website to answer. And on to our shot of the day, the glistening waters of Natovi Jetty, sent in by Spencer Nigel Robinson. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj. We're also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanda.
Hi, I'm Asalika and I'm from Motoka and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.